Welcome back, everyone. A great program to tell you about today. We Care Regional Quality Recovery Housing. To do that for us, Russ Thomas is here. And to my left is Erin Lord. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you having us.
I love this program. We know you from Family Promise, and then you moved on to this. And tell us a little bit about what it's designed to do.
Okay, so We Care, what it is we have a grant with the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. We administer one of their grants for recovery. And through that grant, we house folks in our local recovery housing. Mostly it's privately owned, but there are some corporate-owned housing. And we just recently initiated an income-based subsidy.
Okay.
So the client pays a portion of their rent, and then we pay the other portion. And then they're required to be in treatment, going to groups, and continue to move forward to try to sustain their own housing and sustain the recovery.
Yeah, and it's a tough process. As you mentioned the clients, and we're talking about people mostly who've had trouble and history with substance abuse then, right?
Yeah, we've had folks that, recovery is a process, and some of them cycle back in again, and we're about second and third chances if that's what it takes.
Sure.
So we've been recently lucky to grab onto Erin here, and she just has a really good rapport with people, and they respect her quite a bit.
Yeah, well, that's nice to get bragged about on the air. That helps out. Let's talk a little bit about the intake process. When those people come to you, do they need documents? Do they need some kind of history? How's that work?
Okay, so usually we have an application that's just got the basic information on it. And then along with that, we sit down, we go through a little survey, some of their history and everything, and we get them connected with whatever other services they might need. And then we have the grant, and along with that, it's gone to a subsidy now.
Okay.
So we have some financial documents that we need for that.
And the grant is designed specifically for the client then, that they can apply for that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's for the client.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. When those people come in, it's got to be, a lot of them, as you mentioned, are coming in and they're trying to turn their lives around. For you, what kind of a feeling is that to know you're making that big difference every day?
I love it. I just look at them as people to love on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think about some of these because we've all known people in our lives who've gone through substance abuse and then they're trying to come back, and we don't think about transportation and housing and all those simple things that we take for granted, right? That's what they need to start to get back to that process.
Yeah, if there's not a safety net somewhere in that process, a lot of times we'll find them homeless on the street, unsheltered on the street, and typically when we can find them in that situation and start the process of at least getting them into something that's more stable, then we can start the process of getting them to where they've got an actual regimen that they're responsible for. And a big part of this is them taking on this for themselves, and we're here to support them. And if we're doing more work than them, then we have to sit down and have a conversation as to what's not motivating them. And typically it's something else related. They're not typically lazy. Right. They're just unsure of the next steps because this is new for them too.
Yeah, and somebody said too, you think about a lot of these people that will end up homeless or have gone through substance abuse. A lot of times their family, they may be estranged from their families, and because we think, well, why don't they just go back and live with their families again? But there may be a separation or something that caused a break there, right?
Yeah, and that's a bad situation when that happens, and a lot of the times our goal is to reestablish that relationship. But there has to be a lot of trust involved before they'll take folks back, and it's not in their defense. You know, they've been abused and things. But typically, what I've seen, I've been doing this for a long time, not only in vocation but in ministry. And it's always a love of family that brings someone back home again. Yeah, always is.
Yeah, Erin, if someone's watching today and they're thinking, okay, this is me, I'm the perfect recipient for this. What do they need to do to get a hold of you guys? Just give a call first. Is that where we start?
It starts with an application process. Okay. Oftentimes that comes through a treatment provider. Okay. But if they needed to, they could submit that application to us through my email. Okay. That would be Erin.
Easiest way to do it?
Yeah, that would be the easiest way to do it, yep.
Okay, and I'm sorry, go ahead. What was the email?
Erin, WCRQRH@gmail.com.
I'm surprised. I wouldn't have been able to remember all that. That's pretty good. That's impressive. And you guys have a lot of good partnerships we didn't get time to talk about, but thank you guys for telling us about it. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Doug, medical news coming up next on Noon Edition.